Okay, hello everyone. For the first, what is SQ3R? The SQ3R type cooperative learning model is a learning model that uses reading strategy by assigning students to read the study material carefully. Suryanto 2009. And the problem that is often faced in the learning process is the activeness of students in developing exciting concepts related to fewer teaching materials. Students are often more passive in mastering certain competencies. The SQ3R type cooperative learning model aims to make readers active in daily which can find many ideas and important details support many ideas. Sudarso 2010. Enter this method, the reader can catch other ideas that are embedded in the reading. The SQ3R type cooperative learning model consists of survey, question, read, recite, and review. SQ3R stage of reading which consists of the stage of surveying, asking questions, reading, reciting, and reviewing. Robinson and Tarian 2008 and Sudarso 2010.
Point 2. Who is the founder? SQ3R is a reading comprehension method named for its the 5-step. It's survey, question, read, recite, and review. The method was introduced by Francis P. Robinson, an American education philosopher, in his 1946 book Effective Study. The method offers a more efficient and active approach to reading textbook material. It was created for college students, but is useful for young students as well. Classrooms all over the world have begun using this method to better understand what they are reading. Similar method development subsequently include PQRST and KWL table. Point 3. What makes it different from other teaching strategies? With the SQ3R method, readers tend to master the content of the reading and are appropriate for the future reading for the reader who can think abstractly, logically, and systematically. This method is one of the reading methods that is increasingly known and widely used. Reading activity using the SQ3R method, including the following the 5-step. It's survey or preliminary study, question or ask, read, and reset or restart, and 5 is review or repeat.
Main topic. Step on how to teach reading skill using the SQ3R teaching strategy. 1. Survey. What should the teacher do? In the first step in conducting survey activities, teacher needs to help and encourage students to examine or briefly examine the entire structure of the text. The goal is for students to know the length of the text, title, section or headings, and subsection titles of subheadings, terms and keywords, and so on. In conducting the survey, students are recommended to prepare pencil, paper, and making tools, yellow, green, and other colors, such as highlighters to mark certain part. Important part that will be used as question need to be marked to facilitate the process of compiling a list of questions in the next step. What do students do? Students prepare tools for writing that will be used to conduct survey on the reading that are the teaching material. Students record the structure of the text by filling out the following student worksheet. Number 2 is question. What should the teacher do? In the second step, the teacher should give instruction or example to the student to arrange questions that are clear, concise, and relevant to the part of the text that have been marked in the first step. The number of questions depend on the length of the text and the ability of students to understand the text being studied. If the text that students are studying contains things they already know, maybe they just need to make a few questions. On the other hand, if the student background knowledge is not related to the content of the text, is it necessary to arrange as many questions as possible? What do students do? Students work on assignment to improve understanding of the reading content, or students also make questions based on the 5W1H principle to deepen understanding of teaching materials. Students can write 5 questions that are relevant to the reading text given because the author is guided. The number of questions depend on the length of the text and the student ability to understand the text being studied. At this stage, each student can make 5 questions as suggested.
Read. What should the teacher do? The teacher should ask students to read actively to find answer to the questions that have been arranged. In this case, active reading also means reading that is focused on paragraphs that are thought to contain answers that are thought to be relevant to the question. What do students do? Students read the whole text, answer the question made, take notes on important concepts, discuss with friends if needed. Students should also find advanced information on the topic. Decide. What should the teacher do? The teacher asks to mention the answer to the question that have been arranged. Students are trained not to open the answer notes. If a question is not answered, students are still asked to answer the next question, and so on, until all questions, including those that have not been answered, can be resolved properly. What do students do? Students share questions with their friends, discuss and explore information relevant to the question made. Students make a summary of the text they read. Students make concept maps or graphs and provide explanation between concepts. Students organize the material to be presented. Review. What should the teachers do? In the last step, the teacher should ask students to review all questions and answers. The time allocation needed to understand a text with the SQ3R method may not be much different from studying the text normally without the SQ3R method. However, students' learning outcomes using the SQ3R method can be expected to be more satisfying because with this method, students become active readers and are directly at the essence or main content implied and expressed in the text. What do students do? Students review together with classmates and ensure understanding of the learning material. Students prepare quizzes as material for periodic review. Students give feedback with questions about the content of the reading.
Strengths and weaknesses of the SQ3R method. Each learning method must have advantages and disadvantages as well the SQ3R method. So that the equity of the teacher including learning strategies is very necessary, so that not it become an obstacle that can hinder the implementation of learning in order to achieve the goals to be achieved. The advantages and disadvantages of the SQ3R method are as follows. The first is advantages of the SQ3R method. The SQ3R method is one method can be used in learning to read. The SQ3R method has advantages in improving memory from reading comprehension. The advantages of the SQ3R learning method are as follows. The first is students are directed to get used to thinking about the reading material so that the students become more active and trained to be able to make questions. And two is students try to think of answer of questions that explore the content of the reading or text. And 3. Students can work together in groups to exchange opinion in understanding the concept of the material presented in the text description. Okay, the next is disadvantages of the SQ3R method. In the application of learning method is will not free from weaknesses. The weaknesses of the SQ3R learning method are as follows. Okay, the first is students are difficult to be conditioned when discussing with their classmates in studying the text of the subject matter. And 2, it is not effectively implemented in class, which will alert several students because the teacher's guidance is not optimal, especially in formulating questions. Okay. From the description above, we know that reading activities with use method SQ3R will more effective and efficient, as well as they allows to give result which maximum.